Hi, I'm Alex Pault, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Talking Timepieces, where we talk about watch collecting and horology. Today I'm going to talk about my personal journey with this Datejust, this Rolex Datejust 41, that I bought used about a year ago. I believe it came out about the time that it was introduced, and the owner had just left it in their safe for those intervening years, and obviously never wore it very often, or else I wouldn't be telling you this story. But the watch, I bought it, and then I put it on my timegrapher, and I realized, wow, it is running very poorly. And I didn't trust the person who sold it to me to be honest with me on the repair. I trust them enough to sell me a good watch, but I didn't trust them enough with repair work. I hadn't worked with them enough, and it would be too tempting for somebody to, do a quick fix and pass it back to me. And in the end, it turned out to have it looked at by a second jeweler was the better choice, because I was able to find out exactly what was wrong with it and address it directly. And so what happened was I did take it to my the watchmaker that I usually use, and he looked at it and said, wow, this watch has never been worn. The lubricants are all powdered out. And in fact, you've damaged it in the time you've been wearing it, or it was damaged before you wore it. But it was worn a few times, but not while the lubricant was doing very well. Probably when it was sold to the dealer wore it for a while or used it for a while. But the winding gears were damaged, so I had to replace 2 wheels in the vehicle. And the watch eventually came back, repaired with Rolex parts. He did procure Rolex parts on the market and put the proper parts back into the watch. And now it runs much better. It doesn't have the amplitude I'd like, but considering the fact that the entire mechanism was probably worn to some degree or another, even a cleaning, oiling, and reassembly wouldn't address all of the problems. And eventually this is going to probably have to go to Rolex directly, probably. And I'm going to do it within the next year or two, because in my mind, what I did was a splint. And I really now, because of what happened to the piece, I really do want to have Rolex take a look at it, because once you've invested that kind of money into a watch, you really have to take care of it, And one of the things to have is a timegrapher, because if I didn't have the timegrapher, I wouldn't have been alerted to the issue until it was too late. Far too late. I mean, I already had to replace 2 wheels in it. But imagine if something really had seriously gone wrong inside of it. And as it is, it wouldn't be a bad idea within the next 3 years on the outside to have Rolex take a look at it. But for now, it's running well. And I trust the watchmaker who did the work, and I know that it's going to hold up. And it'll hold up for the foreseeable future. I mean, it'll hold up for 10, 20 years, just like the watch up to this point did, as long as it's worn and used on a relatively regular basis. But at the end of the day, you want a piece of gear like this watch to run at its optimum capabilities, and eventually it's going to have to go back to Rolex for service. But like I said, this is a good opportunity to show you what a timegrapher can do in letting you know that there's a problem with a piece, and then taking a look at it after you get it back to make sure that the service was actually performed. I mean, they did send me a photograph of the parts. That they disassembled the watch completely, and matter of fact, I'll show you a picture here. And the other watch in the picture, if I can't crop it right, there's another watch in the picture that's someone else's watch. But the watchmaker took it apart, took pictures of the disassembly and sent it to me, and sent me back the broken, damaged wheels with the watch. So I got the parts that I that were replaced, I got them back with the watch. So very, very good experience as far as that goes. Like I said, if I weren't a meticulous person, I'd consider this, a done deal and not worry about the watch for the rest of my life. But I'm a nitpicker enough to probably, like I said, probably in the next 2 years, and the next year before that, do it maybe for myself for Christmas, because it's not going to be cheap. It's not going to be cheap. I sent my oyster quartz out once, and it came back 1,700 euros to have it serviced. I did get a new warranty card with it. You get a service card with it, and it was then running optimally. I was able to sell it at market value, but yeah, you got to be careful with these things, and you're paying a lot of money for them, so you should take care of them. So let's show you the videos of the before and after timegrapher shots, and then we'll close out the episode. It is very obvious that it is time for this watch to get a service. It's running very slow for a Rolex. I mean, there are some watches that will run 25 seconds slow, but they cost $50. The amplitude is extremely low. It should be over 270, and the beat error is very high. So here's the Datejust after service. As you see, the rate and amplitude and beat error are now within tolerable limits. I'd like the amplitude to be higher, but it's acceptable. The rate is right in there, +3, +2 seconds a day, so no complaints there. And just running back in acceptable order. So that was my personal experience with a used Rolex Datejust 41. All's well that ends well. The watch will function as advertised for the foreseeable future. It's in excellent shape now, and will get eventually taken to Rolex for a complete servicing and overhaul. I'll just save up the cash that I need to do it. So thanks for watching. If you like the content, please like. It helps the search algorithms. And if you haven't yet, please, I encourage you to subscribe. It really helps. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.